channeling space of that song in that moment while it's being channeled. And it's just juicy. It's just voluptuous. It's just, and this is where, I'm stepping in, I keep on stepping in and stepping back, stepping in, but I don't go back. And here we go about expansion, because it's time for me to get out to the entire world who I am.
Welcome to Conversation for the Soul. I'm Linda Christine. Today, I have a wonderful conversation with Ernestine Day. Ernestine is the Soulful Guitarist. Why, do you ask? Because this woman pours her heart and soul into every beautiful piece of music that comes through her hands into her guitar. Today, we talk about all the different things that led to her journey to where she is today. And I have to say, this woman's wisdom cracked my heart wide open. She is a beautiful, gentle, and wise soul. And I think you'll agree with me. Let me know in the comments. And before we begin, I'm going to ask you to please like, share, and subscribe. This is how these beautiful stories get shared, and these beautiful stories make amazing teachers. So let's begin with Ernestine. Welcome, Ernestine. It's so wonderful to have you on here.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here today. I've been wanting to get to know you for a long time. I've been following you on social media, stalking you, playing guitar. And yeah, so I want everybody to get to know you along with me. So how did you start this whole journey of yours, channeling all your beautiful music?
Oh, how it started was, and I'm going to use a language which I no longer use, but I'm going to use the terms I used back then, okay, or prior to the last couple of years. In 1996, I had a partial hysterectomy, and then after that, I thought I lost myself. Right, so we got into the Western medical system. Not two parts, but one part is they ended up putting me on antidepressant, anti-anxiety to help me to cope, because I did not realize then that I was waking up. I did not have this kind of community I now have in and around me for my understanding, which is truly the understanding. And so I also got into counseling. And while I was in counseling, as I opened up to my own thoughts, my own feelings, my own emotions, I had no idea how detached I was from myself. And what I would do is, as I opened up, and it was not a conscious thing. It was just something I did. And I would go home and I would literally pick up the guitar, and I would take that energy that I was feeling deep inside of me, and I would channel it through my guitar. And that's how my music started. And my guitar has been my vehicle all these years as a way for me to express my innermost self without using words. And then in 2001, I started to realize just how special my music was. So I went into the recording studio just to record, not to make an album, but just to record, to secure my music. Now you got to remember, this is 2001. And so as I was recording the album and which ended up being an album, but as I was recording, and then all of a sudden I was running out of money, and it was like, okay, I need to stop. My mother, who passed away in 1991, okay, so here we are, 10 years later, her state's already been settled. I got a $3,000 check. So I took that, and I knew immediately what to do, make an album now. So it went from just recording now into an album. And then I actually put my music away for about 13 years after that. Something very devastating happened to me, which impacted my heart And that's my sensitivity towards things, because it felt personal, because it was personal, because I was about to expand and getting my music out to the world. And, you know, I'm not going to go into the story, but because the story doesn't really matter. It's just events that had happened. And then about 2015, I started to get back into it again. I've always played my guitar, but not, not with this understanding that I have. And then I'm so great. And then, sorry, and then 2020, I connected with Mr. Todd Medina, which is our beautiful brother, who is Soulology. Soulology is Todd, just as I'm the soulful guitarist. There's no separation, right? And when I connected with Todd, and then, here's these people comment, I go, oh my God, there's a whole bunch of you guys. Because what it was, my dear friend, longtime friend, Jade Rader, was on with Todd. That's how I found Todd. And that's how, when we link with somebody, we never know where that person's going to take us. Don't look for it. Just go for the ride. If you're guided to do this, go do that. And that's how I found Todd. And through Todd, it was just like my world has shifted. It's been unfolding for the last 3.5 years, ever since I met Todd in this amazing community. And there's people who don't even in our community who don't even know Todd yet. But what I'm saying is that when we connect with somebody, it's amazing how that ripple effect can just, how it spreads. And then in a beautiful sister of mine, Suzanne Amara, and if anybody is not familiar with her, I recommend her highly. She approached me because she had a weekly gathering, which is no longer there, called Light Language Lounge. We got together every week to speak light language, because my music is light language.
Yes, it is.
And through meeting Suzanne, and there's quite a few things, amazing things happening regarding Suzanne, but she was the one that, I could say the word, planted the seed that I'm an alchemist. And no, not me. Because I can't say I'm something unless I really feel it and understand it, to understanding it, alchemizing that within myself. And she also approached me to channel a song for her, which was already happening, because I didn't even know she was going to ask me, because that's what happens with me, which I'm now recognizing. And through recording, her song, and all of a sudden I was going back and I started all of a sudden picking it. I've never picked at all my life until like 2.5 years ago. And I went, ooh, that was nice. Ooh. All right. And so then I called up my local music store here in Canada. We have a music store that's all across Canada. It's called Long and McQuaid. And I called there because every person that works there in each department is very knowledgeable. Doesn't mean they know it all, but they're very knowledgeable. I said to this guy, I need a tool that I can record. We'll just play it back instead of me trying to record. Oh, you want a looper? I said, okay. He said, I recommend this model, because everything I said to him, that's why he directed me to this model. And go to YouTube. And I did that. And I went, that's it. Right. So I immediately ordered mine. It took till June 2020, because I have to think now, 2021, before mine came in. But I did rent a smaller, similar unit until mine came in, because of the backlash of the so-called virus. But anyway, so this incredible looper has been opening me up continuously for the last 2 years. And when I say opening me up, that, I've always done what I've done, all of my beautiful magic prior to, but I've never had a tool that helped me to expand within myself. And that's what I look at my looper as being, as an expansion of myself. And so this is where the full circle comes. that last August of last year, 2022, I wanted to go to Soulology Fest in Arkansas. And everything literally, we think we have obstacles, but get the fuck out of our own way, right? Just trust, if I'm meant to be there, I'll be there, right? And then, so I went to Soulology Fest, life altering, totally life altering. And come back home here, and then spirit, I've been wanting to come off these medications for the last couple of years, but every time I tried, it was not good. And then October 21st last year, spirit said, it's time. But I felt this, I am ready now. Because as much as we may think we're ready, but are we truly ready? All right. And so I reached out to about 9-11 different people for their support as I went through this. So I'm very proud to say that through this process, of course, I got all this energy coming out of me. And of course, it's channeled through my music. All right. And as of April 11th, I think it was, that I completed coming off these meds. I did it in 6 months. I know I did it, but I did not do it alone because I had this incredible support, people, healers. And that's what I've been realizing, is I've been gathering these people in and around me to be there when I need them. And I gathered them all, not all at once, but individually, because they all offer something different. And I didn't even know what everything they could do, because it doesn't matter. I just asked them for their support, because I don't know what I'm going to feel like. I don't know what I'm going to go through, blah, 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 blah. And I call them the three amigos, okay? And because they always work together, right? Deb and Rick Purcell and Phil Burrows. And Phil says, you guys, we can da-da-da, and I'm just listening to these guys. And so what they did, they assisted and helped me to counterbalance the psychological process of coming off these psychotic drugs. And I was automatically done. And that's where the ease and grace came in, because I don't know if I could have done it without them. I think I could have. But that's the thing, we all have gifts and abilities to offer others. And that's what they offered to help me. And so what's been happening, this is where the full, this is all connected, is that since April, and there's all these other incredible things that are happening universally as well. So here I am now, flying solo without any psychotic drugs, which is not suppressing anything within me. So everything is very raw, like it's just, and it's very intense. And I go, okay, and this last couple of weeks have been, rough, and I don't mind a little rough. But this past weekend, like I got fucking scared. I got so scared, thinking that I don't want to go back onto these drugs. And I had reached out to a couple of people, because, I don't reach out easily or lightly. If I say I'm in trouble, I mean I'm fucking in trouble. There's a lot of people, as I say this, that we can feel, we can sense when people are, I could say the word crying wolf, poor me, woe's me. I don't have time for that. I will assist and help you, but you have to be wanting and willing to help yourself. And 99% of everything we do, in fact, 100% of everything we need to do is within ourselves. We can reach externally, grasping here, grasping there, because we're trying to fucking understand. But that's it, outside of yourself. Go inside yourself. Don't listen to what people think. Oh, you got this disease, this and that. And this past weekend, it was It wasn't crazy. And then a bunch of stuff happened, and that's where we're in our mind, but get back into our heart space. Trust that as much as, I know what I feel like. When I don't feel like myself, it scares the shit out of me. It bothers me. And this past weekend, I was really scary. That thinking, and that's where my beautiful friend, because she's actually a friend. We've known each other for, I don't know, 7 years or something. And, she's a medical intuitive. She's, she's many, there's nothing that she's not, right? She's just incredible. And I reached out to her because, yeah. So by me reaching out to her, I said, look, I know you're at your kids, blah, blah, blah. And just when you're able to, I said, I'm okay. Because there's a part of me that knew I was okay. Right? So as I did that, and you were one of the people that was very instrumental in that day. Your card pulling, there's other people, and there's just everything, I went, oh my God. Okay, now I'm starting to feel like me. Mm-hmm. And when my friend Deb called that night, and I said, look, I'm feeling better. And she goes, what's been going on? And so, because here's the thing is, none of us are broken. None of us are really broken. We just need somebody to hold space for us, to allow us to express or to feel how fucking intense it is. Yeah. And this journey we're on is a lonely journey, because it's only myself that can heal me, because I'm the one who truly understands me. I did a live yesterday, and the beautiful lady that I know she meant well, and she implied that I come off these drugs instantly. No. Did she ask? No. But and this is the thing about perception and view, because people project their perception of what you're saying, because that's their internal stuff. And I get that. And that's where we have to be careful of not taking what somebody's saying as gospel, because what they're speaking, their truth, but is based on where they're at. And that's where the projection comes from. Because, and that's why I say numbers are broken. And even in my live yesterday, because I was just talking, and I don't talk very often, but when I do, I have a lot to say. You're sitting here and go, yep, she does. and that's the thing is, I have a lot to say, but I'm not going to sit there and say something when people are not able to hear what I have to say. And that's one thing I love about my platform on social media is I get nobody in front of me but myself. So I get to truly be who I am without any distractions. And that's why I try not to read comments during the live, because that is a distraction, and it can be. And that's, all these things like that I'm seeing, because it's my music in the last 4-8 weeks have gone to a level that is just blowing my own mind, but it's my heart opening up, my soul. It's just because my soul, my guitar, I've always expressed this about my guitar, she's my soulmate. She allows me to express my innermost feelings and emotions with no attachment, meaning no words. And that's where a lot of us get lost in, because we think we have to say something. We don't have to say a fucking word. Like you and I are sitting here right now, and I know your audience doesn't know this. We can see each other, right? But we're just listening. There's no interjecting. There's none. We're engaging in silence. I'm speaking, yeah, but we're engaging in silence beautifully. And that's the thing is are we really listening to what somebody's saying to us and hearing what they're saying? And that's what I'm finding, all these different people that I know and how they're all at different levels on their journey, as I am myself. But the ones that I connect with the most are the ones that are able to truly hear what's being said and feel it for themselves without them trying to interject and project whatever they think they need to say. You don't need to say nothing. How about just embracing whatever that energy that's coming in? Because when we speak, it's energy. When we express from our heart and soul, it's pure energy. And that's where everything I get to do through my music is pure energy.
That's
Right?
one of the hardest lessons, I think, to learn on this journey. Christine Aguilar did a post on it a few weeks ago for anyone that knows her about you don't need to open your mouth all the time. You can sit there and hold space for somebody. You can go on a long rant on social media about something, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you want everybody to come to your rescue. You're just, I need to vent. I know somebody out there is going to understand, and I used to play that role of the fixer. Oh, well, let me try this, try that, da, da, da. No, you don't need to go there. You can just go, sister, I got your back. I'm here. I'm listening. I love you. And that's enough.
Exactly. And that's, and that's where when myself, I'm very selective in who I follow and who I listen to. And,
You gotta be.
We have to be. And when I say this, and a lot of people may get offended by this, but I'm sorry, it's my truth. There's a lot of wannabes out there. And there's
Yes,
an
ma'am.
incredible amount of willoughbys.
Yeah.
And, for me, because we both know Christy Aguilera. And like she even posted something yesterday, and it just, her rawness, her truthfulness spoke to my heart. And not very often I share anybody's stuff on my timeline. Very seldom. That was a must. Right? Because I had a situation that happened to me, and this was within the spiritual community. I've had a few situations happen to me in spiritual community, which I'm sure we all have.
Yeah.
But they've been all learning lessons. And that's why Suzanne Amara she, just like Tom Medina, is very high in my books. They were the real thing. And, I had somebody approach me, they want me to do their show for them. And we sort of became friends, but I knew I sort of had to keep my distance. And I was always very clear with everybody. I'm coming off these medications. Number one, this is what's going on with me personally. Number two, I don't talk. In other words, for the sake of talking. There has to be a reason. And so this person, bottom line, because I've had time to reflect on all of this, has crossed my boundaries multiple times. And when I say I can't talk about this, or I can't talk about that, or whatever, I mean what I say. Don't think because you consider us friends that you can walk over my boundaries. No, your job and your responsibility is to respect my boundaries. Right? And this person was not able to repeatedly, okay, that's the only word I'm going to use. And I know they got a good heart. I can see that. I can feel that. All right. And then, I recorded for their show, and I know everyone has their own way of producing stuff. I don't live in a structured box. Right? You and I never spoke about what we're going to talk about or anything else. Right? We were talking before we came live here, and I said, look, a lot of the stuff needs to be said when we go live. And she said, let's just go live. I said, yeah. And because that's how I work best. I don't want to know nothing about you, because I don't need to know your stories. I don't need to know any of that. You don't need to know mine. This is like, we're both being here in the moment and being real in the moment with no previous information.
Absolutely. Yep.
And
I love that.
And, so this person repeatedly disregarded and disrespected my boundaries. So what happens with me like I said, I've been reflecting back on this and reevaluating myself, blah, blah, blah. And because what happens with me is that if you don't respect my boundaries, I become quiet or I become abrupt. That because I'm not going to engage. But they think I'm being friggin' rude. No, you're being rude and disrespectful by disregarding my boundaries. Very clear boundaries. I cannot talk about this. You chose what you chose. So we recorded the interview, and I was just doing what I'm doing with you. You're just holding space for me because they have their own idealisms. You know, well, I need to ask you questions and you answer. I ask a question. I can't operate in that level. And that's where allow me to whatever's coming in through me to come in and through me in that moment, because that's all there is. And I felt right after we did the interview, and even after I finished talking, she goes, well, I guess there's nothing to ask here. You know, I could felt this rudeness and disrespect and disregard because it didn't go the way she had planned it or her idealism the way it was going to be. And so, you know, I had offered to bring her onto my restream. And because that was one of the things I could not talk about right then, because what I'm going through. This is one thing people do not understand. When somebody says, I cannot talk about this or that, is because of where they're at in that moment. And we need to respect them where they are at in that moment. And when they're able to, they'll come back to us. You know, don't take your own agenda and attach it and project that onto them for them to do whatever. It doesn't work. And I said to this person afterwards, we're chatting back and forth. I said, if you feel that you don't want to air this, I said, that's totally up to you. I'm okay one way or the other because I had no attachment. Right. And, you know, and that's the thing about, you know, people is, you know, and this has been part of my little struggles, you know, because when things come up, it's for us to look at, but is it really looking at? And this is what I, you know, when I was telling you earlier that this past weekend was just, it was awful. And that's why I need to talk to my friend, like, because she's one of the people I truly trust. She's a pure channel 100% of the time, right? Despite what sometimes I get frustrated with her, but I know she's a pure channel. And she, you know, I can honestly say to her, blah, 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 you know, is this me or this, you know, like what's going on? Am I picking up this energy? Like, what is going on here? But what I found out is more about where I was at, and I need to let go of something. Right. And, you know, so now I'm able to talk about without, you know, getting into, yeah, she hurt me, but I'm not attached, you know, to the results of, because everything I don't want to talk to, I want to talk to people I can engage with. Communicate with. It's like, you know, and this is the whole thing, is how people can manipulate something to look like something because that's their version of it, without them being able to take responsibility for their own behavior, their own conduct, for the lack of the, you know. And I said to her, I know one of the last, you know, because I reread my text messages to her just to make sure, like, because I know in my heart, my soul, and as I read them, I'm going, I was very clear to her. But she was so caught up in her own stuff, she was not able to detach from that. I wish her well, whatever she chooses to do. But that, when I say this, that's where the wannabes and willoughbys are for me, because they're all different. I don't put everything into a box. It's wide open. I take each individual as an individual, right? And that's where I think we all, every situation that comes before us is an opportunity for us to learn and understand and grow within ourselves. It's never about anybody else but ourselves. And when we find the right community, and that doesn't mean everybody in this community, this incredible community that I'm a part of, I'm not in. I'm a part of it. So everything I contribute, as long as I speak, for me, it's very important that I, myself, and I think that's why my expansion keeps on leveling up, is my inner expansion. My soul is just constantly just opening up. And these last 4 weeks, and it's like, me trying to figure out which side is up, which side is down, meaning, is this me or is this the situation? Is it this and that? Like this whole thing that we all go through. But what I have been finding in it, and I have to talk to my beautiful friend about this, is sometimes I just need to talk. Can you just freaking hold space for me instead of telling me this and telling me that? I love you dearly, but if I got emotions coming up, just hold the space for me. Let me say and express whatever I need to express. Let me get this out because I already have the answers within myself. Give me the room, the space to move through this, because I'm very good within myself to figure that, because I'm sensing and feeling, as stuff is coming up, because I don't want to resist whatever's coming up. I want to allow this to come up, and I'm trusting myself within myself, going, is it this? Oh, no, maybe it's this. Oh, yeah, okay, here we go, right? And we can sense and feel within ourselves as we open up to really whatever it is that we're feeling. It does not have to be an event. It does not have to be anything. And here's the thing is this, as I say this, is, I'm in awe of all the amazing people I know in and around the world. It just friggin' blows my socks off. And a lot of them are showing up and really showing up for who they are. Who they really are. And, and it's now when I say to people, I don't want to know who you are job-wise. I don't give a shit about your job. Who are you? It's like with you, Linda. Who are you? Who are you really? And we are what's happening, and because the only link I have is to my music, is this expansion I've been through, and my music has shifted because I'm shifting. My soul is expanding, and my soul is wanting to express so much. And this beautiful tool, my looper, she just allows me to go to such an incredible level. There's no words to touch it. And it's me get the heck out of my own way, my mind, and just trust whatever needs to come through my guitar, whatever song comes through. It's like I have no control. That's when there's been so much been channeled through. And I used to try to say, okay, this is how I play it before, I'm going to play it this way now. It doesn't work that way. I play a song in the moment, how it feels it needs to be expressed in that very single moment. It doesn't matter how the version I played prior to, it doesn't matter, because we can never repeat that. And it's like, which I guess that's why I'm saying this now. It's like, you last week, reached out to me and you expressed your frustration with recording and using other people's material. And you reached out to me and I said, yeah, I'd love to. And instantly I knew which song it was. And I said to you, this is the song I recorded last night. So, you went and listened to it and you went, yeah. But it was that version when I say this, because it's like, as I recorded the song, as over the last weekend, doing my best going through this fucking shit at the same time.
Oh, bless your heart, my dear.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, but it taught me that even if I'm going through shit, I can still do stuff. Right. And then, I nailed the recording yesterday morning. And again, going full circle for myself, because these are lessons for me to understand. It's not for anybody else. But yesterday morning, I got up and recorded. I nailed it, and then I sent it to you, and you liked it, but the tempo needs to be up. And I went, okay, I get that. So this morning, I was working on it last night, as you know, and then this morning I turned around and I went, okay, because I'm finding that my best is in the morning, because there's no outside influences, I could say. And I just freaking loved what I did this morning. It makes me smile from my heart, my soul. And it's only you that knows that is the correct recording or not. It's only you, because you have to feel it yourself. And that's where...
No, I was just going to say, I know already it's the right recording because of the energy that you're sending to me about it right now. I know it's spot on. I don't have to listen to it. And for anybody watching the show, it's the music you're going to hear at the beginning and the end. It's now Ernestine for perpetuity.
And that's where I'm trusting, instead of, and it's like when I was initially recording this song for you, which is called The Frequency of Love, that I wasn't trying to make it something, but I wasn't allowing it to feel what it wanted to be expressed as in that moment. This morning, it just flew. And it felt good. Even last night when I was working on it yesterday, and it felt better just to shift that, to shift the tempo, the shift. I'm not sure what the language, because I do not freaking read music. I am freaking clueless, and I don't need to know. Some people says, "Oh, you should learn." I should? No, I could learn. And here's the power of words. Should? No, I could. I choose not to, because I have no desire. There's no have-tos here with me. I only do what feels right for me. And that's like everything I get to do, and I'm learning. And I want to thank you, because I know the Spirit also sent me you on this level. Here we go. And how it really truly works was for me to get the heck out of my own way and figure this recording shit out, because I'm not good at that shit. And Spirit sent you to me to do this so I could do this, and to learn how to record and get the hell out of my own way. And that's where, getting out of, just not rise above it. I don't like that. But the thing is, don't get caught up in the brain. Just trust everything will come to you in its divine time. Don't try to force anything. Don't try to push anything. Just be with yourself and trust. Yeah, we would like to have this and that and all that stuff, of course. But it's something that a lot of our community are talking about right now is materialistic, how we're letting that go. And it's about living. It's not about the materials. Like, there's only tools I need personally is my computer, my looper, my mixer, my foot pedals, right? My mics. That's all I need. That is what's really important to me, because no matter where I go or what I do, these are my tools. You could say my tools of my trade, but it's my tools of my inner expansion within myself. I get to share with the entire world. And this year, it scares me, because I know what I do is extremely special. It's just not very special. It's fucking amazingly special, because of where it comes from within me. It's not my abilities or my lack of abilities. It's me learning and trusting and stepping into this part of me that I didn't even know was inside of me, that wanted to be expressed. And it's like my music has just gone up in the levels. If anybody's familiar. You go back and listen to our recordings from a year ago, let alone 6 months ago to today, and how I share this. You can feel it's more. I could say the word not substance, and because language is not my forte. It's put my guitar in my lap, and that's my forte, right? But because when I play a song, it just in my soul, it's scrumptious, and it's like it's the most godliest feeling while I'm in that channeling space of that song in that moment while it's being channeled. And it's just juicy. It's just voluptuous. It's just, and this is where, I'm stepping in, I keep on stepping in and stepping back, stepping in, but I don't go back. And here we go about expansion, because it's time for me to get out to the entire world who I am. And I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to come in and speak and talk about what I do, the work I do. And it's like I am the soulful guitar. Spirit gave me that late 2017. Then I thought I was being very brilliant, like, smart. Before that, I used to say I'm a instrumental acoustic guitar soloist, right? Which said it all, but it's awful friggin' long. And then, yeah, and then late 2017, now I realize, and this is where I'm so grateful for this for community, because I'm understanding myself. It wasn't me, it was Spirit gave me that name. And that's why it resonated, because that's the thing about anything. It's like when people speak, we know if it resonates or not. Don't think because they're speaking that they know everything. Stop that. Does it resonate with you? If not, just move on. I had somebody the other day who left, and I just went, what? It just really floored me. Like, if you want to make a comment, most people will go, if you don't want to make a comment, you don't have to make a comment. But this person says, well, that was boring. Yeah, exactly. That's why it's like, what? So it's like, and here's the thing is, I'm very out there. I'm public. Everything I do is public. It's not my stuff to hold on to. And that's why I think all these people that have been not showing up and saying who they really are, because one thing, that's where I'm just so grateful, just so freaking grateful to all these people. And I sat down recently, had a conversation with Ashley Lee from Arizona. And the first time her and I spoke, we met at Solargy Fest last year, physically. And I said to her, who are you? And she started listing them off. I went, holy fuck. But here's the thing is, we all have that within all of us. We just haven't understood who it is that's within us.
And it's constantly shifting, and that expansion and contraction of awakening, it's I find for me it's evolving, and other things come up. Like you said, you just expanded to a whole nother level in what you're doing. It's constantly changing.
It's constant, and that's the thing, is like this energy that comes in and through me, what I'm starting, I've never taken time to go by, okay, let me figure this out. No, we don't need to figure anything out. But what I'm starting to realize, and it's the language I use now is not the same language I used a year ago. And it was like in August of 20, so much has shifted since August of 2021, multiple things. I recognize that I am an alchemist. I started embracing that within, embodying that who I am and being comfortable with that, of who I am. And it's been just, with what we just spoke about, is these energies that come in, I don't know who they are. I don't need to know who they are. They're coming in, and whatever needs to be transmuted in that moment. And that's one thing I love about what I do. And a lot of people really appreciate the fact is, whenever I go to play, I don't play my own. If I may muck behind the scenes, but if I go to play, I'm always online, because there's very special magic can happen in that moment. It's always magical. Absolutely. But what can happen while I'm doing a live, and that's why some of my lives can go 2 hours. I never know. It may only be 20 minutes. I have no idea. But that's where all of a sudden this energy comes in. And I go, oh, what's this? And so I'm learning for myself to trust whatever is going on. Okay, you guys, we're going for a ride. I'm not sure where it's going to take us, but here we go. And that's exactly what goes on. And so people get to experience this energy that's coming in and through me, and however it wants to be expressed. Do I know what the fuck I'm doing? I'm clueless. I am friggin' clueless. And it's just like, trust. Just trust, Ernie. There's something here, and just stay with this energy and just allow it. Don't think about it. Just stay with it. Don't worry about anybody else. Just stay with this. And this is where this expansion has been happening inside, because I've been learning to trust myself. And as these new energies come in, and that's where, here we go again, coming back to you, because you made me, in a good way, of course, to sit down and figure this recording shit out, because I'm not good at it. I got a guy, that's going to come into my home, help me set up some recording software and set it up, because I'm not good at that. I am not good. It debilitates me. That's the only word I can have. It's debilitating to me. And I went, no, I'm going to bring somebody in to set up. And I told them exactly what I need. I want you to set up. I just have to press go, record, and save it. Just set it up for me. Right? And the software I got is compatible to my looper, because in case anybody doesn't know what a looper is, okay, a looper is a recording device that allows you to lay down a track and it'll repeat that track. And you can actually add layers to that track.
It's so cool. It's really so cool.
I
love the way you do that.
It's amazing. And I'm in awe of myself, what I've been learning for the last 2 years. Mine's a 5-track. So which means I have 5 different tracks where I can add layers to each track if I wanted to. And I have to be very careful of that, because, and when I say this, you're ready for this? I already know this is going to happen. I'm getting I'm using this energetically wise, so don't take it literally. I'm using this energetically wise. I'm getting a huge inheritance, okay, that which will allow me to pay off all my debts, will take a huge load off of me, and a newer vehicle, but I'm getting a second looper.
Love it. Love it.
Right. And because even when I say that these tools of my trade, I could say, are very expensive. Now, some people say, oh, you should, you could get one cheaper. You only maybe need 2 channels. No, there's always a reason for everything. So don't listen to other people's logic or their whatever. Just trust what you know. It's just like when I saw this looper, and a few months ago, the Spirit said, you need 2 loopers. And as I explain this, is that, and I'm learning, because I'm learning how to control. If you heard me a year ago with the looper versus today, it's a total different ball game for me on my sounds and my levels. I have a volume pedal, which I have my foot on right now, going back and forth, right? My left foot controls the channels where I can stop and record, so it doesn't intrude in anything. But what happens is when I record, I have a volume control on each channel. So I have 5 controls. But if I add a layer to that, it can affect the sound, right? Compresses everything. And because I upgrade, I have a Boss RC505. I had the Mark 1. I just upgraded to the Mark 2 in February. I think it was February or March. And so And I love this one. I just love it. The sound is just so much more superior. Not, I'm talking about the guts. I don't understand it, but that, the second looper, what it's going to do, because instead of playing, 5 channels with adding layers to some, that I'm able now to go to 10 channels with no layers. So which means I have more control over each recording. And the software that I'm using is also compatible to my looper. So it doesn't make it as one recording. I have all these, it recognizes each channel on my looper. And so it's like these things I've been learning, and that's what I find that we are all doing. We are learning. Don't think about it. Just step back and observe. And for me, this is why I'm speaking about this, is these last 2 years of learning. I've been growing and expanding for me to be here now, right? In the last, 4-5 weeks, something like that. You are my 4th interview. Bring it on.
I
Bring
love
it on. Because I'm ready. And that's what it is. We can sit there and say, well, I want this. I want to do blah, blah, blah. But it's only when we're truly ready, it will appear. And it went, Sarah reached out, to me, wanting to need to do her podcast. That was my first podcast. Joya reached out to do her podcast. Julie Persian, she wanted me to go on her show, which I did. You're my 4th one. And it's like, I'm ready. It scares the shit out of me because I know I'm ready inside of me. But don't let these external things to affect what you know within you, because and that's where be careful who you keep in your inner circle.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Because that's where we come back to the wannabes and willoughbys. I want people who understand and respect what I'm doing, and I'm ready. And it's like Soulology Fest is going to be coming up, and I'm getting wind that's going to be mid-August, and I hope so. Whenever it is, I'm going back. I've never been around such incredible, amazing, soulful beings where nobody intrudes in your space, because that was my fear. And by the way, speaking of Soulology Fest, when I went to Soulology Fest last year, was the first time in 32 years I had done anything for myself.
Oh, honey.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you did.
And when I realized a couple days before I went, and I went, oh shit, I'm going to be around people because I'm a hermit. But I felt this thing saying to me, you're safe. You'll be okay. And I was. And that's the thing about being around incredible beings, that because they just never intruded in my space, nor did I theirs. And to be around such amazing, it was life-altering. Life-altering. We all have a purpose for being here. And, Todd has his. I have mine. You have yours. We're bringing people together at whatever level. And that's where, going back to Soulology Fest this year, a year later, and I hope I get to meet Todd this time, because unfortunately he wasn't available.
Yeah, I heard that story. That was pretty interesting.
It was very interesting. And this is the thing, is that it was also these stepping stones, I could call it, that I've been on for the last 3 years. And nothing but heartfelt gratitude for every single person I've connected with. Because doesn't mean I understand everything that everybody says. No, I don't need to. But we know when something resonates. And that's the thing, trust yourself, not what other people say or do or what they try to present themselves to be. And that's one thing I love about the work I get to do, because I don't get to have to say nothing. I get to just be and allow people an opportunity to feel, and if they choose to really sit with this and listen to it and put your buds on, headphones, put them on, because it's, and that's where, and I cannot express my gratitude for you for forcing me to get in, figure this recording thing out, because, I've been pushing it, and that, don't take words literally. If you're not sure what that person means, ask them, what does that mean for you? Ask them. And so you really truly understand what they mean when they say that. Because, last night I went, okay, I'm going to experiment here. I'm going to go live and start recording and see how long I can record. The thing kept on recording. I was on there for an hour. Well, cool. So now I know that I can go live, have the recording, because when those moments happen where a song is being channeled in the moment, and now I can capture, I have the recording, then I can take that, and that's where I'm going to be getting to, and I will be, once this guy gets into my home here and helps me set up the software, so I can, without using GarageBand, because that's what I'm using right now is GarageBand, but I want to use this software so it can recognize my looper, so I can control the levels on every single channel that I use better than with GarageBand. I can't. It just recognizes the machine. So I don't have control. So I've been really working on, not hard by no means, but I've been working on being conscientious about everything. It's been a learning process for the last 2 years. I mean, huge learning process. And it's time for me to do lives, do concerts. And I know that. I'm not going to stop doing my lives online. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Soulful Guitarist, Ernestine. Easy to find. Everything is Soulful Guitarist. Boom, boom, boom. And some, the business side is, well, that's your branding. Yes, it is. But it's not that. It's who I am. It's who I am within me.
I have a big ask for you, my dear.
Yes.
All this beautiful energy that you've been sharing with us today, can you take your guitar and your looper out and give us a little bit of a serenade, something?
Yeah. You know what? This is what's happening right now. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh, if you can't, that's fine
no,
too.
No. I was trying to get where the sound right now is coming through my system here, right? And that's why I had to reboot and all this. And what, unfortunately, is right now my system is not connected to this. You're actually hearing me coming through my computer only, so I can't use it, right? And because anyway, so I would have loved to, and that's why I was trying to get it set up. Went, okay, just trust this. And so I have to reluctantly, because I would have loved to play something for your audience for them to get.
Well, now everybody's going to have to go find you, so that's okay.
Yeah, they're going to have to come find me, or when I say this, I can come back another time.
There you go. We'll do that too. But before we wrap up today, there's something I want to go back to from the very beginning, because I feel it would be very beneficial to people who are embarking on this journey now. You said back during your awakening, I believe after you had your hysterectomy, that you were not sure what was going on with you. What kinds of things were you feeling? Describe what was going on for you, so maybe people that are having the same experience can go, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm actually waking up to something here.
One of the things was I was constantly teary-eyed. Constantly. I wasn't feeling sad or anything else, just, and just very teary-eyed, not functioning, right? And I had the most amazing roommate then. And I've always admired and respected him because of who he is. And, you know, when you're in a safe space, and something happens to us for us to get, everything happens for a good reason. Don't think it's a bad reason. You know, when I was ready to go back to work, I didn't know I was going to be able to go back to work. And because my emotions were just so all over the map, I didn't understand. But I didn't have this kind of community and people in and around me to really help me, to assist me to understand what was really going on. And, you know, I'm not beating myself up at all, because I did the best I could then with the understanding that I had at that time. And that's where I get really upset with people, even in our community, that bash the medical system, bash the doctor, bash. Excuse me? No, no, no. It's not about them. It's about us as individuals. And, you know, that is what was, you know, available to me at that time. So I was able to function and go back to work. Like, and I'm going to be very honest with you, because I've never spent time to really look at what I was going on, right? Because it was just, I just remember just, you know, I was dating this woman and she was leaving. I was crying, but I knew, like, it was just tears, it was emotions. But those tears and emotions are releasing, right? I didn't know that then. I thought there was something wrong with me for being so emotional and just teary-eyed, and, you know, and that's where, no, it's just like, no, if my emotions come up and you know, this coming off these medications, there's nothing I could say, and I don't mean this in a bad way, to hide behind or to suppress these. I'm raw. I'm flying solo. But I have this amazing community in around me that I don't have to sit, you know, I can tell, I can see it right away when people, what's wrong with you? And I go, no, I'm fine. But it doesn't speak about me. It speaks about where they are at or where they are not at. Right? It doesn't speak about me. And you know, and that's where, you know, we use our discernment. You know, I got this beautiful lady right now who's struggling, and I said a bit ago about she's reaching externally because she's listening to everybody. I even put her in contact with a couple of incredible healers that I know, but she was so busy up here. Stop. And she's driving herself nuts. But there's nothing I can do for her, but she has to figure this out on her own. I can hold space for her. I check it. Now I only check in periodically with her. And I follow her on Facebook, and she posts on it, and I go, yeah, she's still at it. It doesn't mean I don't care. It's not my job to fix her. It's her job to understand what's going on with her. And that's the thing. We think we're going crazy, right? You know, because I can't act, say, and behave a certain way that society thinks I should be. We are opening up to ourselves. And if you cannot open up to the people in and around, you need to change that. You cannot change them. You need to change yourself to go, okay, it's not safe for me to speak about this over here. So I'm going to distance myself. And I look, as I say this, is I think I went 17 years not talking to my father. My father and I are very, very close, spiritually, soulfully. But him inside was not such a nice person, especially when he drank. And, you know, I know I've been judged by my biological family, but they have to live with that judgment, not me. I'm dealing with homophobic within my own family. They say one thing out of their mouth, actions different. And that's where, pay attention, you guys. Don't dismiss when somebody says, he's being whatever, a fag, or, you know, when they're using derogatory comments, in my view, okay, about, you know, and when I say this, to be very specific, when my dad's brother, my uncle, when I come out to them, and which was 90, what, 94, 5, something like that. And they, oh, we love you as you, and all these wonderful words. And that, which was relief off of me, because it's hard coming out. Yeah. It's hard coming out to ourselves because it was not acceptable. And, you know, but again, going back to their action, their behavior. And one day I was down visiting them, and my uncle was saying, what's wrong with these damn gay people? They want, you know, marriage, equal rights, and all this shit. Fuck, you know. And he didn't realize he's talking about me, his own niece, who he says he loves. He has no problem with me being gay, but he has an issue with gay people. And I'm sorry, I am that. And it really caused me to go, I can't be around you guys. If you truly love me, and this is the whole thing about this family thing, it is that, you know, the old program, you know, was that, you know, biological family, your family forever, and all this shit. And, you know,
yeah, blood's thicker than water.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. Not always.
No. And this is the whole thing, because now I don't talk to anybody in my family. None of them. I don't want anything to do with their mentality. If they would grow, put it this way, if they would grow and expand within themselves, they will see for themselves, and they will come to me and say, I am so sorry. I don't need to look for them. I saw them, my dad's brother and his wife, 2016. And they didn't even know I was coming, because my cousin was out here, and we went over, and there I was. I was part of.
Surprise!
Yeah, exactly. And it took them by surprise too. And I wouldn't have done it if I didn't feel okay about it within myself, because it's not about being okay with them. It's about me being okay with myself. Am I okay to be around them? Right? And I haven't talked to them since. I have no, and you know, I have no attachment. You know, I know I'm living with this judgment by them, but that's their judgment. And it's just, you know, we stop worrying about what others think, including biological family or friends. Fuck them all. Find people that you can resonate with and be around. And it's like, that's what this community has been teaching me and showing me. More importantly, not teaching me, but showing me, you know, and I don't, you know, Chancellor and Linda, you and I may not talk this way for 6 months, a year, 2 years, 10 years. It doesn't matter. We don't need to do this every single day. But when we do come together, we come together being very present.
No, it's funny, when we first got on here, we were just like, oh, la, 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 like old friends. And it's like, wait, we've never engaged face to face, but we were like, oh, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty. Like, I know I'm going to be meeting you, and I expressed this a while ago to you, that I'm going to be coming down your way, which I will be, because I'm going to be traveling, right? And I'm going to be, you know, setting up concerts, right, in different areas to do. And it just, I don't know how it's going to work, how I'm going to do it. but I know I'm starting to connect and figure this out as I go. And it's like, being in Texas, mid-August, it could be early September, but mid-August to start with, that, you know, I just may keep on going for a while. And that's where I don't want to be boxed in that, when I make a commitment, and I'm being very careful with my schedule right now and what I'm doing. And that's where I'm always busy doing stuff. Absolutely. But, it's like, I want to go down to White Rock Beach here and busk a couple of times this summer, but I'm going to blow their socks off. And I know that now. I've always blown their socks off, but I'm in a different place now. There's I got a card right here, and to connect with this place and to do a concert there. This is what's happening. I'm connecting with people. You cannot force this stuff. You need to trust that when it's time, they will appear. But I don't want to plan too much commitment wise into the folks. I don't know where I'm going to be.
Well, the beautiful thing about it is you're allowing the universe to bring you things beyond your wildest dreams.
Oh,
you're saying, I'm here, I'm ready.
Just so everybody knows too. Yeah, this is so funny. We're looking at each other, but you guys are already hearing us. We both went at the same time. She's speaking, and we both did the arms wide open, like opening up to receive. We both did it at the exact same time, right? But that's the thing is just open up. Just open up and trust and faith. Don't try to think, I need to do this. I should do this. I should do that. Because that, no, I'm just going to keep on doing what I'm doing because it's working. But what I'm learning through this process is a whole much more expansion and understanding, which includes recording. And that's where we think we hold on to the end. No, it's the journey, getting there. It's every step, every single step that it's an opportunity if you choose to see it this way. Don't sit there and worry about, oh, look at that person. Oh, he's such an asshole. Look at that person, this and that and all this shit. Who gives a fuck? Right? It's like where I live. I moved in here just over a year ago. And I love my space because I'm on a ground level. And I finally set up some bird feed out front here, which happened during the winter by accident. And the birds would come and I realized they're hungry. So I ended up buying more food, right? And now, like, it's just turned into this incredible little sanctuary on my friggin' deck. I sit here in my chair and my view is looking out onto my deck. And there's the birds feeding. I have 3 squirrels that come, primarily 2. Right. And I've had some new strangers show up. And it's like, even during the weekend when I was going through all this shift, and it's not shit, it's shift, is that, I had this, I don't know what bird it is because and I don't need to know what bird it is. Saying, what kind of bird is that? I don't know because I don't need to know. That's me. Right. But this bird caught my attention because there's something about it. And then after that, all of a sudden, it would be flying for like 3 days straight, flying. Not on my deck, I'm just talking in my view, right close to the way the landscape is here. It's really close to me. And I go, okay, is this coming from spirit? Blah, 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 right? And since Sunday, I haven't seen him. I had an owl one time landed over my neighbors. These are the complex I live in. There's, I think, 11 units here, and each unit has 8 suites, 4 in front, 4 in back. So like little pods. That's the way I describe it. So I got a pod beside me, a pod across from me, right, and stuff. And the building beside me here, I noticed this white thing, and I'm looking for. So I grabbed my phone, which a lot of us always have on us. I grabbed some shots, and I posted it, not knowing what it was, and somebody had said that it looks like an owl. And so I went, I think you're right. And here's the magic is that when I finally realized what I saw was an owl, and I remember the owl, after taking some shots, flew off, and it was just beautiful. It was breathtaking. Once I recognized it was an owl, and the owl said to me, "It's about time you knew it was me."
Oh, wow. Oh,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah. And but so I know we need to go.
Oh, my dear, what a treat talking to you and getting to know you in this way. And I just want to say you cracked my heart wide open. You spoke so much beautiful truth, and I appreciate you for that so much.
I thank you for giving me this opportunity. And your audience wants to find me, Soulful Guitarist.
Yes, all platforms.
It's all platforms. Everything is Soulful Guitarist. And, I'm just trying to get out there and break out of my own comfort zones. Right. And I've been learning, expanding. And that's where expansion is not just one thing, it's multiple things.
Absolutely.
Anyway, love you dearly, sister. Thank
Love you
you
too,
for this
my dear.
opportunity. Okay.
Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.